Hallo, ek is Edie. Welkom by my kanaal waar ons alles saam doen. Today we take a look at how to compare stuff in Afrikaans by using the word soos. The next clip is a 10-second clip only containing a visual of all the ways you can use soos. If you would like to write that down, you can pause the video, or for future reference, you can come back to that. In English, we often use the word like to compare one thing to another. In Afrikaans, the word soos is the one we use for the translation of that word like. Ek is soos jy. I am like you. Dit ruik soos vuil sokkies. It smells like dirty socks. Die een is soos die ander. The one is like the other. Wil jy soos daai ou klink? Do you want to sound like that guy? Now we take a look at something that is a bit more tricky. Now, soos can be used as the Afrikaans for such as. Also for like what. In the case of like what, you'll use the Afrikaans soos wat. That being said, in Afrikaans, we use soos, and I'll show you the examples now, and soos wat interchangeably quite often because there's not that much of a definite distinction in Afrikaans as there is rule-wise in English. So let's look at the first one on the left. That is the soos for such as. Now in English, such as is used when you are going to list things after the question. Let me show you. Hy geniet dit om dinge soos karre en bote reg te maak. He enjoys fixing things like cars and boats. Daar is baie kos waarvan ek nie hou nie. Soos, there are many foods that I don't like. And then the question is, such as, in Afrikaans that would be soos, and then you list the foods that you don't like. And in English that is such as, and then you list the stuff that you don't like. People, if I'm sweating. We have now arrived at the beginning of summer here in South Africa, and it is already hot. Not even nearly as hot as it's going to be, but it's hot. And I've got the lights on, so it's even worse. And then I have to switch the aircon off, otherwise you hear noise in the background. So I'm just surviving. But we're off to a good start. It's not that hot yet, but we're getting there. All right. Then vrugte en ander kosse, soos vleis, vis en eiers, verhoog serotonien. Now you can see there's not a question and then you list stuff. This is a list in a sentence. And then the English is fruit and other foods, such as meat, fish, and eggs boost serotonin. Now on the other side, we look at soos wat. I think the best translation there is like what. Now, like what is different in English from such as, because such as is used when you are going to list things and give a list as a response or list things in the sentence. But like what is not the same. You don't say like what and then list stuff. I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of us Afrikaans and English speakers both use like what as a substitute for such as, and we don't follow the literary rules. But if you really want to go according to the rules, then like what is used for things when you're going to mention one thing or a concept, but not list things. So we have, ek sou 'n ander antwoord gegee het. Soos wat? I would have given a different answer. Like what? And then, dis soos wat ons laas jaar gesien het. That was like what we saw last year. Alright, so this one is a little bit confusing or can be confusing. This is when we use the word soos in Afrikaans for the English as. It's only in this case, because the word as is translated as something else in Afrikaans when you use it in other ways. It's only to this case that it pertains. So, dit is soos sy gesê het. It is as she said. This is the case where the translation is soos for the word as. But the word as in other cases it has a completely different translation, and we'll get to that in another video. You'll see the example below that says, dit ruik soos vuil sokkies. It smells like dirty socks. So in other cases, where there's like, it's soos, and it'll be like. It's just this case above where it is as she has said, where it is also soos. Then this the last use of soos. Now in this case, it is the word net soos. That word net in this case means just. Net is also a noun, and then it means a net, like a fishing net. But in this case, it is the word for just. Now, net soos has two translations, and you use it in different ways. The first is just like, and that is the most common translation, and the most, I think, closely, or the closest one, and also the most widely used one. The other is just as, and in some cases, the translation is also net soos. So the first one says, hy lyk net soos sy broer. He looks just like his brother. When you're comparing two things or two people or two situations, and you are going to say just like, the translation will always be net soos. The next one, hy klink net soos die ou van Game of Thrones. Translation, he sounds just like that guy from Game of Thrones. And now below that, we get to the just as. Now, just as, in the sentences below, is also just like. Some people say just as I said, and some say just like I said. And in that case, the translation will be net soos. It'll be for just as I said, and it'll also be for just like I said. It'll be net soos ek gesê het in both of those cases. And the next one, net soos ek vermoed het, just as I suspected. And some people will say just like I suspected. The translation remains net soos. Now the last one. This combines soos with net so. No. So it's net so, then you've got an adjective in between. And then at the back of it, you've got soos. So it's net so, soos. I didn't list that one, but net so, something in the middle, soos. It's still technically net soos, but you can't write this without using the word so as well. And the translation to English there is just as, and then there's a word in the middle, and then another as. So the translation for net so, soos is just as. Right. Johan or John. In Afrikaans, we've got a name Johan. This one is John. Is net so groot soos sy broer. John is just as big as his brother. And the next one, sy is net so hardkoppig soos haar man. She is just as stubborn as her husband. There you have it. If there are more things about soos and comparison that you still struggle with and that isn't clear from this video, if you want me to elaborate more, explain some more things, please leave a comment in the comment section and I will reply to it either in the comment section or maybe if it's large enough, I will make another video about it, because this concept is not that difficult, but it also contains a lot of different things and it takes some getting used to use all of these. So please let me know if you struggle. Have an awesome day and I'll see you in the next video.